Hi guys, it's Candace. Welcome back. Okay, so I have an Etsy share that I want to share from the Junk Journal Studio, and it's been a horse of a day. Wait till I tell you the day I've had. It's 7:30 at night. I'm just filming my video for the day, but it's been one of those days. Oh my gosh, let me put some lotion on my hand because I just came from the barn. I just finished with Tootsie. Actually, I had to call John down there in his robe, his hat, his gloves, and everything else because, but I couldn't do it by myself in the dark, and I'll tell you about it in a little bit. Okay, so Michelle has made this beautiful spring spring sings kit, and it's 50 pages. Yes, oh my gosh, it is a big one. Let me make sure that I'm straight, which I guess my phone's not straight. That's because my head's not on straight today. I know everybody's like, oh, it never is. Well, all right, so are you ready? This is some pretty stuff. Bright, cheerful. I mean, there's so much to choose from. I think this is upside down. Yes. Oh, but I just put it on white paper just so you could see the actual, colors and images. Oh, isn't that pretty? That would even go with like a sunflower one too. I know that it's not a sunflower, but you can always put one on there. But I mean, all the colors are just screaming for that too. Look at the little bird. Oh, so I'm just going to flip and tell you. Oh my gosh. So, we just last night let Tootsie and Minnie out of horsey jail because, she had cut her leg, and, well, John said that she had scuffed up her leg and she had blood on her legs. Well, apparently, this is when she hurt herself. I know, we're horrible pet owners. I'm sorry. And I will include a picture at the end. And if you're squeamish, don't look, because it is really bad. So they're out on the front thing, and this morning, I'm out with the dogs after they eat breakfast, and they're doing their things, and, the horses are out there, and they always come up close. Well, Tootsie walks by, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Tootsie. So I, do her little thing, and she comes up, to the driveway, and I love this bird. That'd be a cute little fairy. You can mix and match these and so many things. And so she comes up, and I'm looking at her back hind leg, and I'm like, oh my God. So I run up here, and I told John, I said, we have got to get the horses back into the pen. He's like, why? I'm like, you should see this cut on Tootsie's leg. I kid you not. The cut, oh geez, it's got to be 9 inches long because it was by like this, by a good 5-6 inches wide. I mean, it's unbelievable, and it's cut from top to bottom. It's not like a side by side cut. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So I'm freaking out. So we get the dogs in, we get the horses down there, and we get them in the thing, and John's like, well, I don't see anything. And I'm like, oh my God, can't you see this cut? I mean, because she is covered in dirt. Because, I guess that's what, she must have rolled around. That's a horse's thing, I guess. I don't know, but oh my God. So, I mean, and you could still see okay, I'm not going to get into it. It's bad. So I'm like, well, I've got to call the vet. And John's like, it's just a horse. I said, I don't care. I'm calling the vet. I said, she cannot get an infection. I said, I cannot shoot her. And I said, and I can't do it. So, I finally find the vet that we used in June when they came out and did the house call when she had her foot hurt so bad. And so they're like, well, we can't get out there today because the vet, and I just printed these 2 per pages because this is a large one and I wanted it small. I know I need to go back and put the second one on there, but I just wanted, because this I think would fit on a nice journal card and everything. But these are like really pretty corally salmons and just, I mean, really pretty spring stuff. And so, and she's like, well, can you send me some pictures? I'm like, sure. So, I go back down there to the barn to take pictures of Tootsie, and, I'm standing behind her, which, sometimes you can't stand behind a horse, because I love this little bird. And she's got some pretty, pretty labels. Look at the butterfly tags. And so, Tootsie's pretty good. With me and John, she's, does not like strangers. And yes, I was out in the night air too long. So, but look at all this. Look at these cute little stamps. Y'all, I'm a sucker for stamps. Little bunnies. And she's got some cute little buttons. I've got to do something with buttons this time, because I've not used the buttons on the last 2 kits, and I need to do something with them. And these are some pretty little pockets and some tabs. So, I take pictures. Well, of course, I can't get any signal down at the barn. That's our problem, is because the barn's at the very bottom of the property at the drive, in the curve, and usually you don't get signal until you come up half of our driveway up to the top. So I'm driving with the window down and the phone hanging out the window, trying to see signal, and it keeps saying queued, queued, queued. But I didn't want it to say failed, because then, you got to start all over. Anyway, long story. So look at them bunnies and little strawberries and these tulips. And so I finally, get past the middle of the driveway, and it starts saying, sending, sending, sending. So finally all 4 of them went. And I get up here and I call her, and she's like, yeah. She goes, I got him. She goes, oh, she says, that's a bad cut. I'm like, I know. I said, that's the only reason why I'm calling you. I said, if it would have been just, a little cut, I'd have put some salve stuff that we have on there. I said, but this is huge. I mean, it's like, it's huge. It's the size of my hand stuff. I mean, anyway. And she's like, well, I'm sending the pictures to Dr. Andy. And, anyway, look at all these little tickets and stuff. And the little daffodil buttercups, stamps. And she said, as soon as I hear from him, I'll give you a call back. Well, I'm waiting, because, now I'm like, oh my God, because by the time I hear back from them and stuff, because now it's lunchtime, and by the time I hear back from them, well, now we're getting into being too late, and we don't have lights down there at the barn. That's our problem, is, you can't just show up to our house and expect to see, because there's no light down there. And I love that bird. Oh, look at the little bluebirds. I know. My grandmother was a bird fan, and so I guess I just love them. It just depends on the pretty. And I love those butterflies too. And so I just know that there's no way that anybody can show up today, because it's going to be too late and they're not going to be able to see. And Tootsie's just really weird with strangers. And like I said, June was an ordeal. And look at those with the little egg on there and the little bird's nest. That'd be pretty with putting some extra like thread and embroidery scraps behind there and kind of raising it up with a little extra in there. But look at the tags. She's got tabs, and I love this one. And so she finally calls back. It's like about 2:15, and I'm like, oh crap. She's like, well, they can be out there, around 5:30. I'm like, no. I said, there's no way that they can come because they can't see. There's not enough light. And she's like, well, can't you run an extension cord down there? I'm like, no. I said, you don't understand how our property is. We don't have an extension cord that we can hook enough together to get down either from our shop to the barn or from our house to the barn, because it's good. It's a long ways. Y'all seen it. It's good long ways away. And I said, now my neighbors just built a shop next door. I said, maybe we can use their run extension cords from their shop over there, but they're not home. And I said, she's like, can you get her here? I said, we don't own a horse trailer. I said, we never thought we'd have horses. I said, we don't need one. I mean, anyway, and these are so pretty. And like I said, these would be really pretty with like a lemon or fruit type journal. I mean, any of them. And this, like I said, these will go with sunflowers, and even the blues are just, oh yeah, garden. But, so, I get the phone with her, And she's like, well, I'll call you back. Let me find out what we're going to do and make sure, if they think that it can wait till tomorrow or if they need to take care of it tonight. And I'm like, oh, my God. And so, oops. So I'm trying to call my neighbors, can't get them. So then I call my other neighbors down the road because I know they have a large trailer. And I thought, okay, maybe Tootsie can fit in there, which good thing we didn't bring her down there because she wouldn't have fit in there. That's how she got hurt a couple years back when they brought her down when she had escaped and cut her head wide open. Let me tell you, this horse is she's got Murphy's Law. If it can, it has, and it will. And look at the little dog. And then this is just like a piece of, I don't know, stuff. That'd be pretty for a journal card base, or even if you folded it, and that's just your page base. You cut around there and all that good stuff. So, I call and I'm my neighbor. She's like, oh yeah, y'all can come get the trailer and everything, because I'm thinking I'm gonna get her in the trailer because Tootsie remembers stuff. I mean, she got a brain, a memory like an elephant. And she remembers what happened to her the last time when there was a trailer involved. Okay, and then this is her spring definitions. I think it goes this way, yes. And look how pretty. All these green vines and stuff. And so you got 3 different sizes of these labels. Or is it 2? I think maybe 2. Shoot, I don't know. Running my mouth. And then these are really pretty. And then don't forget, on the ones that are black and white, run them through some of your colored paper, coffee dye paper, or light distress paper, or even scrapbook paper. Cut it down to 8.5 by 11 and run it through, and you'll get some really pretty designs behind there. And then this would be pretty in a Valentine's journal too, I think. Reminds me kind of like a pocket, like an embroidery pocket. So, and then these are just the same words, just on different color backings. I love this little Easter egg. But, so, I figured out I can get the trailer if need be. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm like, it can't be any harder than pulling a U-Haul down the road. So, and I couldn't, I told her, I said, I just can't think that there's a horse back there. And I would just, I'd have to get there. She's like, well, you wouldn't have to worry about backing up. She says, because, you could just drive straight through because there's like a little circular thing. And I'm like, okay, that's good to know because, y'all, I can't back up. And little umbrellas and butterflies. So, so she finally calls back and, little bunny ticket, and tells me, okay, the vet says that it can wait till tomorrow because, it's not a fresh wound, which made me feel horrible that this is what happened last week when John saw her with her ankles all cut up when he thought she had went through the fence when he saw her on the other side in the pear orchard and thought that she had stomped down some fences to get there. But now we have to go look for new clues tomorrow in the daylight. And so if you like purple, this is really pretty with like shades of taupe and tans and purples and lavenders. This is really pretty. And so she said it can wait till the other vet can come out tomorrow, so that's fine. That's great, because, I was really panicking about the trailer thing, but I was going to do it. I was going to suck it up. And then, like, these, that's the same definitions, but it's got, really pretty different floral pictures and bird's nests. It's really a pretty kit. And so we decide that we're going to wait till the morning. They're going to be here at 9 o'clock in the morning. So they're going to call us when they're on their way. Because since we've had the problem with our ghost gate, it's the electronic gate opener is disabled down there. So only us with the remote controls can open and close it. You can't get in or get out by pushing the buttons anymore. We have to let you in or out. So, I told her, I said, well, she can't get in. And I said, because the code that's on the file is no good. And she's like, oh, okay. And so she's supposed to be coming. So she says, oh, but we see where it's noted that the horse must be harnessed, because the last time it took them 2 hours. And they're about to give up. And they're charging me by the hour, you know, the house call out here because I'm an hour away, plus per hour. Oh, and that was my birthday present last year, y'all. Actually, should have been like 3 years of birthday present, but so I'm like, okay, I understand, because I mean, it was all they could do to get her, and they had a 10-foot gate that we had propped up against on the outside of the thing. So they had the gate, and they were trying to, I shut this gate over here, and we shut this gate, and she was on the front pasture, which I guess you could call a paddock, because it's not like a huge thing, but it's still a decent size. So I went and closed this, and we had closed that, and she kept trying, she's just running around there. So, you know, like the vet's trying to get her over here, the other vet tech's trying to get her over there, and I'm trying to make sure she doesn't go there. So then they get this other gate that's sitting over on here, and so I'm, you know, waving like a crazy woman over here so she won't run past me. They're raving, you know, doing crazy arms over here, and he's over here, and so they're trying to get her in with this I guess it's a 12-foot gate, into the corner so they could tie the lead around her, because she's hasn't been harnessed in years. And so, because, you know, why have a harness on them if they're going to be just roaming around? They can get it stuck on something and get caught up and, you know, die. So they finally get her there. Well, it was all we could do to get like 2 ropes around her so they can give her a tranquilizer. So they finally gave her a tranquilizer, and you know, they backed away. And then my neighbor over here had a tractor, because they were digging up where they were getting ready to put his shop in. So they were clearing all the stuff out. Well, Tootsie can't stand loud noises. I mean, she will buck like a bronco. I mean, just a wild Mustang. I mean, she doesn't like noises. And so, you know, she's out here bucking and doing all that stuff. And so I'm over there, and I had to walk over and tell Jim. I said, Jim, you know, I got vets here, and he's like, oh, well, I said, can you turn it off? He's like, oh, no, because he knows how crazy Tootsie is, because Tootsie was his daughter's horse, and that's, you know, that's how come she got kicked off of their properties, because she just is a little bit special. So they finally get her. They give her the tranquilizer. Well, she finally calms down about halfway through the thing. You know, I'm pulling her. She's following me, because they backed off and went to their truck way over here. So now Tootsie is like, okay, I'm with you, and I'll follow you. And so we get her out the gate, because they have to be able to work on her with her hoof and stuff. And, well, now the tranquilizer kicks in. She's 1,200 pounds, y'all. She's not a little horse. She's, you know, a regular-sized horse. So she's starting to lean. You know, I'm out here, and I'm standing here, and here's Tootsie. Well, she's leaning on me. I can't hold her up. And her legs are starting to cross, and I'm like, oh my God, this horse is going to fall on me, and she's going to kill me. And they're like, no, she'll be okay. You know, horses, you know, we haven't given her, oh, this is a duplicate, and this was a duplicate, so that was that one. So they're like, she's not really going to fall down. She's just going to be, you know, really drunk, but they know to, you know, to stand up and not fall down. And I'm like, oh, okay, because I mean, it sure felt like she was ready to fall down on me. So they finally, you know, she was all drugged. I mean, and then she wouldn't budge for nothing. I mean, she just like had all her 4s down. You couldn't pull her or anything. I mean, she just stood there. So they said, so after they treated her, gave her all her medicines and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, how long is it going to take? And these are some embroidery and linens that are really pretty, that will go with any of the spring things. And so she's like, well, you just have to stand here for like, you know, 30, 45 minutes, and then the drug will actually, you know, will wear off, and she'll move. Well, it's June, in the heat of the summer, in the sun. Y'all can tell I'm fair skinned, no shade, no nothing. So I'm standing there with this big old, you know, I call it a leash, but it's, you know, big old 12-foot cotton lead thing, waiting for this horse to become undrunk enough for me to move her. So anyway, so that was in June. If you go, I think I wrote about it. Well, anyway, so I'm out there trying to put this harness back on her that we had in the barn that she came with. Well, it's leather. It's been out there for 5 years. I get it on her, and I go to, to pull her, to, just make sure it's on there. It breaks. It's dry rotted. Well, I don't have an extra. I only have one. So then I had to go to Tractor Supply and get another one. Well, now Tootsie's figured me out. She knows if I have something in my hand that I'm going to come get her. So I go get another harness from Tractor Supply. I come back. Well, now it's 6:30 at night. It's dark. And she's not going to trust me for nothing because I have a harness. Then I have to give her this medicine that I had to drive an hour and 15 minutes to the place to get in, work hour traffic and then drive home with it because she needed it because it had been so long that her wound is on there and they just want to make sure that she got some stuff in her tonight, which, I was okay with. But then I had to get this big old thing down her and they said, well, just put it on some cookies. Y'all, that was such a joke. I wish I could have filmed this. It was just unbelievable. So like I said, I had to call John to come down there and help me because I needed another set of headlights because the way mine was pulled in, you could only see so much, and I needed another headlight coming down, this hill by where the barn is, so you could have 2 shots of light. And so he comes down and and he's like, oh no, I'll get that harness on her. I'm like, go on, you try it. Right. And John's like, well, you can't get it around her. I'm like, no. She's taller than us. She's not like Minnie, the little horse. He's like, well, all the ones I saw on the YouTubes I've watched, I can't tell you, probably 100 of them since you've been gone. And I'm like, oh my God. So putting a harness on a horse ain't as easy as you think it is when it's dark. It smells brand new because she kept sniffing it, didn't want no part of it because she didn't know that smell. It smelled new like a store, and then it wasn't even leather. It's this, whatever, nylon stuff. Because I didn't want to spend, it was $40 as it was. I didn't want to spend a lot of money because, it's not like I'm going to keep it on her, but I am going to do better. I'm going to do her. So we finally get her. Because I go get the little cookies that I'm supposed to be putting this nasty paste on to give to her. So, she's like, oh, crack. She loves molasses cookies. So I'm just feeding them to her, one after another. And finally, she's got her face in the little bag, and John's able to get the harness around her. And then, of course, he has it buckled backwards. So, but we finally got it on her. And then we have to give her this stuff. Well, you put it on there, and I had to give her a little more than an inch for her weight because there's 3 doses in there. Well, she takes it and then she licks it, she spits it out on the ground, and I'm like, no, but luckily it fell face up, so the medicine was still on there. Well, she's rubbing her face in their hay in the trough, trying to get off. It's obviously some nasty stuff because she did not want it, and so I am trying to get her to do it. And to eat it, because this is a duplicate. But aren't these pretty? My gosh. And so, finally after her getting some on there, and I found out that if I took and just put just a little bit, which was going to take us hours by getting all this on there, but I put a little bit on there, and then I flipped it the other way so she couldn't smell it, she would eat it, and she would, get rid of it. Well, I only got a fourth of what I needed in there. And I'm like, I'm cold. It's cold down there. It's dark, and I'm done. I'm ready to, come in. I hadn't even done my video, blah blah blah, and so I grabbed her little harness, and she, I don't know if any of y'all, you older people, will know who Mr. Ed was. That makes. I've never seen her do this before, but she had her upper lip and her bottom lip. It just as high as she could do, and because she wanted no part of that medicine, and they should flavor it. If it's that nasty, they need to flavor it so the horses, you don't have to fight them so bad. Because some of us aren't expert at giving horses medicine. So I grab her harness. I'm trying to, get it into her little cheek. Well, she's raising her head up, which is taller than me, and I can't even get up there because now it's, it's too tall for me. And so, and I finally, just jerk her, and I got it just right and shoved it in there and squirted it. Well, I mean, it's all on her lips, and, I got the majority of it was in there, and just a little bit came out. But, she's literally, I mean, she is rubbing her face on her straw on the ground, and John's like, my God, that must be really bad. I'm like, yeah, because it was funny. But she got the majority of it in her, and so, now she's down there with her harness on, been given a dose of this medicine, and so she's ready for tomorrow for this vet to come, which I have a hair appointment at 8 o'clock in the morning to get my hair cut, because it's just, it's gotten too long, and it traps me on my chairs in my car, because I only let them cut an inch off last time, and I should have did a little more, but I wanted it a little longer. But anyway, and so now it pins me down. And so I told John, I'm like, well, I said, you're going to have to go down there when they call and say that they're here to help her out with the horse and to see anything that needs to be done. And he's like, well, where are you going? I said, it's my hair appointment. And because I had to reschedule it, because when I had it before, like 3 weeks ago, he had a doctor's appointment that they rescheduled and all this other stuff. So I had to reschedule my thing. And I'm like, I can't reschedule on her again, because it's just, I don't think it's fair, because that's what she does for a living. That's how she makes her money. And if, I'm an appointment and she expects an appointment to show up, and I expect to keep my appointments too. So anyway, so the horse is ready for tomorrow. And I told John, I said, tomorrow we're going to have to walk around the whole 2 little pastures or 2 little paddock things and run our hands and look on the thing and see if there's any part of the fence, and which we just had it replaced, I don't know, maybe a year ago, and to see if there's something where she could have rubbed, because that's what the vet thought, the vet assistant, that she might have rubbed her butt on there up and down, and it just sliced it open. And I'm like, oh my God, because I feel horrible, because it's really bad. And like I said, I am going to attach a picture at the end, and it's not all bloody or anything, but it's because it's got some dirt on there, but it's not a baby cut. It is a massive thing, and I just can't imagine what she did. And I can't even believe John did not see that, because he said, well, I went in there and looked, and I didn't see anything, around on her legs. I just saw where the blood was. I thought she had just, cut herself on the fence on her feet or something, trying to get over the thing. Well, we still don't know how she got over to the pear orchard. I'm thinking the ghost gate had opened and she went over there. And so I told John, so we need to look on, because all of our pear trees, we put fencing around there. That's where John almost got his eye poked out last year when I went down for Emily's graduation, her high school, a year and a half ago. When I went to Emily's high school graduation, John was out there working on the fencing by himself, and it got caught on the auger and spun around, pulled it off the thing. Well, he was trying to get it off, poked him in his stinking eye. He, almost lost his eye over it. And I'm like, I told you, do not go out there, because he can't be left alone, because he gets in too much trouble. So, and then I had, I had called my girlfriend, because he didn't answer, and she came down and saw he was out there working. And I had a conniption fit, because I told him, if you make me leave down here to come up there, I said, I'm going to beat your ass. And he's like, well, I was just trying to get something done. I said, you wait till I come home. Well, he had went down there, because I'm home, but I was, feeding the dog and everything, and he went down there early. He comes up, because he's 30 minutes. I left him alone 30 minutes. He comes up, he's, oh, I've hurt my eye. And I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, oh, the wire jumped off at me when I was trying to cut it off. And I said, I told you I was coming. He's like, well, I know, but I figured I could do it on my own. No. So he's like, well, I just need to go to Walgreens and get eye wash. Well, I could see the slice in his eyeball. So, we go to the emergency room, and they're like, oh, and I told him, oh, no, he wanted to go to Walgreens. And the doctor's like, no, this is beyond Walgreens. So he can't see well out of that eye because of that, because he nearly lost his eye. But he cannot be left alone, y'all. So anyway, I'm going to leave him alone tomorrow, down with the horse, who's going to be tended to by a stranger in her place. So I pray the vet's late, and that I can get back here in time to make sure nothing happens to anybody, because it's just one of those things that it happens. It's for real here, y'all. So that was my heck of a horse day that took all day today. And we're going to have part 2 tomorrow. So we're going to see how tomorrow is. So I know, I'm sorry. So I do have a couple of projects done, but I'm not going to lie to you. I glued something wrong. So, and then this happened, and I give up. So I wanted to show you this Etsy share, and then I have one other one that I'll show, another one after this, just so you'll have it, because I'm going to post this late, and I do apologize for it being late, but I'm telling you, we have a crazy life. And so thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing so many time with me. Thanks for listening to my crazy story. Michelle, I'm sorry I kind of might have took it away from flipping through all of your stuff. The kits are beautiful. I can't wait till we make something with this. And I'm trying to decide between this and the other kit that I'm doing, what I'm going to do with them. But we're going to get on it. And like I said, we got to get this serious horse thing taken care of. And like I said, it's not really bad, but it's bad. I mean, the picture. So, and I wish I would have seen it sooner. But anyway, thanks for all your love. Thanks for your support. And like I said, after tomorrow, we'll get back to our projects and get back on track. But I just have to do these things I didn't want to go missing any longer than I am. So, here's some kisses. Here's some love. And I will see y'all on the next one. Bye, guys.